and welcome to World of Tanks with Trapsikis. Now, most of you will be aware of the fact that there's a new kid on the block, actually a couple of new kids on the block, the K91 Russian tier 10 medium tank and the Object 277, which is the new top tier Russian heavy tank following the T10. And Wargaming has announced that they would like to use the same character that was demonstrated by the T10 and expand on that for the 277. So immediately I started thinking, how would I be able to counter the 277? Which tank would be appropriate to meet the 277, which is obviously a faster heavy with decent DPM and good gun handling? And to my admittedly novice mind regarding tier 10, I thought the E50M would be a good idea because it has a combination of mobility, gun handling, decent DPM, and decent armor. So I got on the test server, I used a bunch of experience to get the E50M, and I decided to try it out. Now, I didn't target the 277s, and now you'll see something interesting happening here. Because this is a test server, people aren't very used to playing grand battles. A conflagration like this of 6 tanks within an arty splash is never a good idea, if you ask me. So I decided I'm going to get out of this position, simply because I don't want to be part of a group that gets annihilated by artillery and then wonder what happened afterwards. So I disengaged from the heavy tanks that I was facing there, and I fell back and spotted the K91 to my right there. So obviously there's a bunch of tanks trying to flank here, but if you notice on our mini-map, there's a FE405 and a Foch B that is very effectively suppressing them. So they can't just push over, they will need to get some kind of advantage before they can. So I'm not in any danger of them pushing immediately, but I would like to, if they poke, punish them a little bit for it. Right, so you'll notice I'm using the large repair kit, the large med kit, and auto fire extinguishers. I feel if you play high tiers, then the additional bonuses that these provide is definitely worth investing a bit of money. For the large repair kit, that is faster repairs. For the large med kit, that's protection from injuries. And for the automatic fire extinguisher, obviously, that is, you don't have to push a button, it will stop the fire after just one instance of burning. So if you're burning for 70, you'll burn for 70 and immediately the fire extinguisher will stop the rest. Right, so the K91 there, you notice me shooting through the tracks and penetrating there, locking them in place and allowing my friendlies to do some damage before I can finish them out. Which is a very good strategy, if you ask me, to try to get your enemies, to track them in a position where they don't want to be, so that your team can actually do a lot more damage. So it's often actually worth it to even not penetrate, not do damage yourself, if you can track them in place and let your team work them over. Right, so bouncing the TVP there while tracking the 277 in place. The gun handling on the E50M, to my very appreciative gameplay, was good enough to actually outdo the 277's mobility. So it's more than good enough for what I wanted to get the E50M for. So obviously on the test server, I haven't grown my way all the way up to tier 10 yet. I'm only at tier 7 at the moment on my personal account. But on the test server, you get granted a lot of extra experience and gold, so you can retrain your crews and get vehicles that you're grinding towards to test them out and see if they're actually going to be worth it. But keep in the back of your mind that the test server is not an accurate portrayal. You will not on your real account see this blend very often. Have a look at the FE405s. There's 3 of them on our team, 3 of them on the enemy team. I'm not sure what's happening there. There might be a buff coming that Wargaming is testing or something. But this particular spread is unlikely to happen often. And you'll also notice that your normal battles, the non-grand battles, are mostly tier 10 battles, simply because there's so many people trying out tanks at tier 10 because of the gold and experience that you're granted by wargaming. Right, so you'll see I'm having some trouble at this distance. This is 420 meters, and I'm only seeing a part of that artillery, so my chances of missing are quite good. And he did move back behind the rocks, so I couldn't keep shooting at him. Now this Conqueror gun carriage is behaving like he's spotted me. He's turning towards me, and I know that big gun is not something to stand still in front of, so I move a bit before I can take him out. And now I know I've got artillery attention. I've got the GWE 100 that I annoyed there. I've got probably some more artillery that is aware of my position, and I've got 2 tanks spotting me, so I need to use the rocks here. And here you can clearly see the snapshot ability of the E50M. Between the shells of the TVP T5051, I can actually pop out, snap, shot, hit, and fall back again. So the snapshotting potential of the E50M definitely something to keep in mind when you're choosing your top tiers to grind towards. Right, so you'll notice that we're doing quite well. The enemies don't have a lot of tanks left, but I'm aware that the artillery knows where I am. So while waiting for the stun to clear, I stay behind the rocks, behind hard cover, so that the artillery can't damage me any further. And then our friendly 277 takes out the 50B, which was spotting me. So now I can safely move out and take out the artillery that was getting on my nerves. Right, so from here, there's only the 2 enemies remaining. We've got a pretty good idea where they are. So I'm just going to speed it up and not bore you with my hunt. So the point of the story, basically, E50M, in my opinion at least, is a very good counter for the Object 277. So if you are busy on the road to the E50M, do spend some time to continue the grind, as I believe the E50M is a very good opponent for the 277, and you will do well if you have to face them often. Right, so we found the last remaining enemy, and for some reason he's pointing away from me, so I can safely come out, shoot him, and wait for my friendlies to finish him off. I hope this helped you out, and if you disagree with me, please let me know. I'm not going to bore you with the in-game stats, so thank you for watching.